Alright, I'm just going to do an unspecified amount of Pokemon Unite tips because this is the most requested content from the comment section. If you enjoy the video or if it helps out, please leave a like and share it with your friends. Also give some of your tips down below because I've probably forgotten more things I want to say in a video than I can put into this video, but I'm going to try to do my best for the most important things. And something that's huge that I see a lot of people struggling with if they just picked up the game is understanding currency. So do yourself a favor and just explore the game. Read around, look around, see what's going on. Because I see a big complaint of people saying like, oh, you only get 2,100 coins per week. This is unfair. The game's too pay to win. I can't get the Pokemon I want. Well, this is also where you can like look around and see what's going on because I have over 7,000 coins and I've spent several thousand. If we check the challenges, this is only day 5 of Pokemon Unite being out. So the math doesn't really check out for the people that are saying there's too few coins in the game. And one thing is, do all your missions. Again, read everything. If there's like a little red dot, check it out. Explore, see what's going on. Also, don't forget to claim your fair play points because you get 20 coins every day. So just keep up with that and you're going to be good to go right there. Another thing that's pretty big are the events. So I mean like doing the missions, checking out the events, just kind of keeping up with everything is going to be big. And yeah, like you get a lot of tickets, you get a lot of upgrade tokens. And that's also where the currency gets kind of weird because there's a lot of different things just kind of floating around. So if we go to the shop, we can also see how that currency plays out. You can use gems to upgrade your items. Yeah, people are upset about that. It isn't as big of a deal because really you just want to get an item to level 20 and that's it. So on like your most popular Pokemon or your favorite Pokemon, just kind of like focus on those items first and you should be good to go. But also you get a lot of items through these events. So another tip is just have patience. Play the game. Don't let all of the other things going on ruin your fun. And if you feel like you're a little behind other people or something, just play normals. This game is really fun and really easy to just grind out for hours and just have a blast. So try not to take it too seriously, at least for the first week. Then you're going to turn around and have like all these items and all these free currencies and all these extra things because the game is just handing them out. Like again, we go to challenges, well, we get a free Pokemon at the end of the 7-day challenge, and then today, win a ranked match. So it looks like you do have to go into ranked, but that is day 5, so hopefully you have some items upgraded by this point because the game has given you enough currency, and you can also kind of get some things out of the way that way. But yeah, just win a ranked match, get the Shell Bell. The Shell Bell is going to save you some tickets or some coins, and it's all going to kind of come together and funnel in really nicely. Check out the Battle Pass. Don't forget to cash in on your energy as well. This little thing over here. Just accumulate as many things as possible and then you'll realize it starts coming together. Also, the more you play, the more rewarding it is because you just start getting non-stop tickets, tokens, and coins, and yeah, like just play the game and you're not going to fall behind too much. So yeah, the biggest thing is just enjoy the game, focus on improving, and then all of the rewards will come in, and then everything's just going to get nicer from there. And we don't even know what's going to happen for the future. We can't see the next week missions. We can't see all the other events. So I mean, yeah, it's cool to like want everything right now when the game is just launched, but a couple months from now, the game still needs as content. You're still going to have to spend currency on something, not even the paid currency, but like the tickets and the tokens. So eventually you're going to have more resources than you know what to do with. But my biggest recommendation is that you want to get the battle point boosters, and you pretty much always want to have one of these active. Now, it's worth spending money on because those 40 gems are almost nothing. And even if you spend 99 cents, then you get the double gem bonus, and then you can use that and you can get level ups. And as I showed, levels are huge for getting tons of items and kind of accelerating through the games and unlocks. I have several thousand tokens, so I also think that it's really good to use the tokens to buy these items with, because then you use the tickets to upgrade them and you can get them at least to level 10. Like, try to shelf things to level 10 and then prioritize what you're using on your best Pokemon level 20, and you're not going to have a disadvantage and it's not pay to win in that regard, so you're pretty good. Oh yeah, and there's also the welcome gifts. So again, if you play for 2 weeks, you end up with 3 Pokemon, tons of tickets, and all kinds of good stuff like that. And if you buy the Pokemon beforehand, and it gets unlocked through the gift, you actually get a refund on the tokens. So it's okay if you can buy it now, and then you eventually get those tokens back. Another big thing that a lot of people were like upset about is that they would spend tickets or money on the AOS token boosters, but it doesn't double the amount of weekly coins you get. You're still capped at 2,100. So yeah, the AOS coin boosts aren't really that great. A lot of people are upset if they like spent the tickets or the currency on them, but the battle point boost is where it's at. So I think that's kind of like it for the currency. I just wanted to show you guys, if you explore and learn and read about the games, and it actually isn't as bad, and once you get how overwhelming it is, which takes like a couple of days as you just get those unlocks naturally, then the game does feel a lot better. The next thing that people wanted me to talk about was surrendering, because sometimes the surrender vote doesn't get thrown up since no one knows how to surrender in Pokemon Unite. Now, I'm not going to go into a game and wait 5 minutes to show you guys how to surrender, so you go plus, minus, then X after the 5-minute mark, and that's how you can throw up the surrender vote. But for the most part, like, don't have that tilted bad attitude where you're thinking like 3 minutes in, like, oh man, I can't wait to surrender, because there are a lot of other things in the game where if you use these tips, then you're probably going to be doing better, or at least if more people understand these tips because you're sharing the video and leaving a like and it's getting boosted by the algorithm, then less people are actually playing bad, and then there's less incentive to surrender because the overall skill is being raised by just good information. Like, I think that's a big thing about this game is just information gap. Also, here's some advice from personal experience. If you're going to spend a ton of money on this game and you're going to whale, don't use the gems to skip the battle pass. I feel like I did not get enough good stuff out of it. My money would have been much better spent on unlocking Pokemon or just getting direct Eos tokens. It's good, and like it'll pay out in the long run, like if you're actually doing the battle pass naturally, but didn't feel worth it to just spend like $60 to go to level 100 instantly. I got a little too excited. Don't do it. Now, something that's super important with Pokemon Unite that I see a lot of people really underestimate or not respect are the score warnings. At 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute, near the top of the screen right below the clock, there's that big yellow or orange box. Pay attention to that, because it says if you're in the lead, if you're behind, if it's kind of a close game, or something like that, and use that to influence the decisions you need to make. Because if there's 1 minute left, and it says you have a huge lead, don't throw the game on Zapdos. Or if you're kind of behind at the 2 minute warning or 3 minute warning, start to figure out what you need to do to get back into the game instead of just giving up and trolling or AFKing or throwing up a surrender vote when the game is winnable. Because I see a lot of people that are like, oh, it's so stupid that I can't see the score in the game. I actually really like that you can't see the score, but there is something general that's like, hey, you guys are doing well, keep that in mind, or hey, you guys are behind, try to pick it up. And I think that kind of works better just for the overall way that Pokemon Unite works, but use the game's information to help with your decision making and how to set up the next parts of the game. And that brings me to something else, Dreadnought. Until the 2 minute warning, Dreadnought is one of the most important things in the game, and it starts spawning at 7 minutes after it's taken. It respawns after 2 minutes. You can look on the map, you can see a clock for the countdown, so you don't have to have like, oh man, it was taken at 6 minutes and 40 seconds, so at 4:40 we need to be ready. No, at least with like the countdown timer, you can kind of see what's going on with it. But Dreadnought gives your entire team a massive amount of experience, and this is also why, like, if you played mostly top lane and you think you're winning, and then the opponent's team takes Dreadnought, and then top lane can just come back and smash you, that's because the experience and importance of Dreadnought is pretty high. So that's kind of like the biggest thing. If Dreadnought is on the map, you need to consider rotating. You need to consider putting that team pressure down. And if you win a team fight after 7 minutes near the middle or bottom of the map, don't score. Like, I know it kind of goes against the conventions of the game, but Dreadnought is way more important than scoring for many different reasons. Don't tunnel after a fight. Don't chase someone into their base or something. If you get any kind of team advantage after 7 minutes and Dreadnought is up, you go for Dreadnought, because then you can use that massive experience. Like, you're denying experience from your opponent. It's a great comeback mechanic, and you don't want to let that fall into their hands, because then scoring becomes difficult for the rest of the game, and now they're also in more of a contention for Zapdos. So what you want to do is just prioritize Dreadnought, and prioritize Dreadnought as many times as possible in that game, because it just puts you so far ahead. Then you use that to stomp them, snowball them even harder, then you get to score more points that way. So if you're playing with friends and you think your friends are kind of bad or don't understand the game, or you keep losing games with other people that you're playing with, just make them know how important Dreadnought is, because so many people do not understand that that is one of the biggest reasons why they are losing games before 2 minutes. Dreadnought, huge priority. But that also means keep some common sense. You know, don't throw away the entire top lane or the game or a weird thing because of Dreadnought. But if a good Dreadnought opportunity starts to develop, capitalize on it and at least be aware of that. And if bot lane like starts getting a weird skirmish, or if you're like, hey, where's my top lane? And there's 10 seconds till Dreadnought spawning, they're probably doing that, so you need to rotate. You need to keep up with the opponent's desire to want to get one of the most important things in the game. And then that brings us to Zapdos. Now, I've already talked about Zapdos at length in multiple videos because Zapdos is the game. It is the most important thing, and if you're wondering like, hell, why am I losing? Why does this keep on happening? It's because you're not prioritizing the most important things like Dreadnought or Zapdos, and I think one of the things that people pick up pretty quickly after just a couple dozen games is the importance of Zapdos. So don't risk yourself to have Zapdos stolen, and also don't be wandering around taking on Dino by the base, or even jungling on your side if Zapdos is up. And then freaking hit the L button, move your control stick to the right over to Zapdos, and see what's going on over there, and then try to help out your team. Like, you just need to play around Zapdos after 2 minutes, and that's how you win more games, especially if you like focus on stealing or put everything into that team fight, and also not wasting your Unite move. If you use your Unite move for like some stupid fight or just to get 1 kill at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, you're throwing the game. You're the reason why the team lost. And also if it means like losing Dreadnought, if there's like a weird Dreadnought fight, just give it up. It's better to die and lose Dreadnought or die and lose a fight at like 2 minutes and 20 seconds than to waste your Unite move and maybe even win that fight. Because if you win that fight, they respawn, they come back in, they might have their Unite moves, and then they take Zapdos and then you lose. So playing around like those last 3 minutes and just only thinking about Zapdos at that point, that's going to be the way to win more games. Now, another piece of advice that I have kind of scattered through many videos now because it's super important is to not overextend. Don't overly push up, especially if you're new in the game. What you need to understand is that in even like normal matches, or depending on how the ranked matches are going, you could be going up against someone way more skilled than you in MOBAs or Pokemon Unite. So if they have a lot more confidence and they understand their characters better than you, you're just going to get absolutely crushed, which means don't take stupid fights. What is a stupid fight? Because that sounds arbitrary. Just don't push up. Just don't run into people. Don't take unnecessary damage. Don't just kind of like mess around for too long. Just focus on the early game. And the early game focus, I'm going to be doing guides on this. I've already talked about it, so like, comment, subscribe, check out my gameplay. The fact is, I'm a really good player at Pokemon Unite, so if you just kind of absorb as much information from all of my videos, you're going to understand more. Item builds, Pokemon build choices, watching my gameplay, understanding my decisions. I also try to put in as much information in my commentary, and I'm talking about why I'm doing what I'm doing at least a decent amount of times, where you will get better by just watching that kind of gameplay. Also, I'm going to be streaming over on twitch.tv/VerlisWolf, so if you check out my live streams when they're live, drop a follow, get those notifications, then you can watch that, and then you can see hours and hours of gameplay and develop your skill through that way, and also just all the other information. If you reject content and advice, you're just being toxic and willfully losing more games, which is also harming the experience of other players. Don't do that. Let's go back to the laning really quick though. Have a game plan and just kind of play safe if you're still learning and understand the game, or if you feel like you're losing lane too much. You know, the real only contest is going to be through the Corphish or the Audino, depending on if you're top or bottom lane. You don't need to push past that. You don't need to push past half the lane. You just need to save your ability cooldowns, play far back, time your auto attacks, just to make sure you at least get the 2 Apom or the 2 Audino. If you don't get things stolen from you and just fall back for the Corphish that spawns at 9 minutes, and then maybe try to get a Combi or try to get a pick on the Vespiquen, then you're fine. Don't overextend. Don't overly focus on scoring, because you don't have to score if you can't get a massive advantage. Like, if you can't kill both of the opponent's laners, then there's really no point scoring in the early game. You're risking getting pushed off the goal. That's also going to cost you experience, because you could have fallen back, gone for the Corphish, maybe rotate to the middle left side in the center of the map and go for the Corphish over there, and there's just so many other things you could have been doing instead of not scoring. And if you try to force a score too much, you could just lose to the enemy laners, or you could also get attacked by the jungler. If the jungler moves into your lane and it's a 3v2, you die there, so now you lose experience, you give them levels, you didn't score, you also lost scoring potential because you lost Pokeballs. Don't overly focus. Don't tunnel on scoring in the early game while you're trying to learn the game. That's a huge piece of advice. It might feel weird, it might feel slow, but that's kind of just how it is in kind of the beginning of the game. And then when you get that second Vespiquen spawn, when your jungler or maybe your other laners start moving around the map and there's more team play, that's when the game starts to turn on. Don't fall behind to where the game is almost lost by that point. Then you can focus on Rotom or Dreadnought. Even though I said Dreadnought is like the most important thing before the 2-minute warning, Rotom's still pretty important. If you have that opportunity, go for it, but if you lose it, then try to focus on Dreadnought or something like that. But that's kind of a big deal. Just don't play overly aggressive. I know that like the advice of don't int is pretty obvious, but a lot of people seem to struggle with that, so don't be silly, don't be stupid. And those are just the biggest things about Pokemon Unite that people need to understand. I know that there's probably a lot of people looking for a lot more individual and specific what do I do exactly information, but you can't just have that told to you and then you apply it and then you immediately get better. Kind of like what I said at the beginning of this video, people need patience when it comes to the currency. People need patience when it comes to like figuring out how everything in the game works. It takes time. If this is your first MOBA, well, there's also people that have been playing MOBAs for over a decade, or they have experience with this kind of game, or they play the Pokemon Unite beta, or they just have dozens and hundreds of hours more experience than you in Pokemon Unite. And since it's a multiplayer game, that's going to make your experience a lot more difficult. And here's something else huge that I don't think a lot of people are fully understanding or respecting, so take this consideration as a tip on its own. They were once where you are. They were new to a game. Maybe many years ago, maybe fairly recently, but they grinded out. They got stomped. They got ruined, but they eventually improved. You will improve, but you need to understand this takes a lot of time. Again, years of experience, thousands of hours of gameplay to get to certain points and certain skill ceilings. Even though Season 2 League of Legends is a very, very far way away and I can't remember my overall beginning experience, I played with a friend, we went bot lane, and then we just played a very, very long time in beginner bots. And then we lost a lot even in intermediate bots. And then when we finally beat the intermediate bots, we didn't feel confident enough for even normal games. Then we finally got normal games. We lost some, and then we just started going on a massive win streak because at least the game was still kind of new. So right now is the most important time to learn, because even though there's a lot of like experienced players out there just stomping on kids, there's also a lot of kids that you can then improve over, and then that can make your time feel a little better. But one of the biggest advantages about Pokemon Unite, coming from other games, is that it's only 10 minutes, really easy to next. Even if you have a crushing defeat, just take away the experience from that game, get better. Everyone else, all of your teammates that you think suck right now, even though you might also kind of suck since you need a beginner guide, everyone's going to improve at some point. This game's only been out for a few days. It's less than a week right now. So give it time. Just give everything time, and it will improve. But then there are still like the super important takeaways that more people need to understand faster to at least improve the overall skill that's found in Pokemon Unite at this time. So guys, enjoy the video. Please share it everywhere on social media. Get this information out there so that way Pokemon Unite has more longevity. Everyone's loving it. Everyone's better. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.